This is a Pele Media podcast.
Welcome back to Jurassic Park Minute. Jurassic Park Minute is the fan podcast that chronicles and overanalyzes the classic 1993 film Jurassic Park minute by minute. I'm Kyle.
I'm Brady.
I'm running out of breath saying that.
I see that.
I'm running out of breath because I've been running around town all day trying to get all my last-minute Christmas shopping done.
You're further ahead than I am.
Or how far are you into buying? Wait, back it up. You haven't bought my Christmas present yet?
Oh, I mean, actually, I am looking at it right now.
Oh, well, I don't even know what it is. I
go.
saw where you looked in a position in the room, but I'm not going to look over it. There's a pile of Amazon Prime boxes over there, and it's probably in there somewhere.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So, I think I've got everything bought for my wife except for one thing. I know what I'm getting you. I just haven't gone to get it yet, and I think that's it. I think that might be it after you.
Damn.
But I have to say, tomorrow, we're having a very special Christmas episode, aren't we?
What would you call that?
I'll call it a very Jurassic Christmas.
Yeah,
and I have a story
enough
for that.
Oh, God.
I have a friend of mine. Well, I don't really talk to him anymore. We're really good friends in high school. And this guy is brilliant. He's a doctor now. He's been delivering babies for the past 15 years. Really, really smart guy. Honors college, was in the honors classes in school and stuff like that. We're sitting in the car one time and we're talking about something. I can't remember what it was. And we had another friend of mine with me. And he's talking about all these moments in his life that were big, like big monumental things that happened to him. He's like, and that was the most Jurassic thing that ever happened to me. And I went, whoa, hold on, no, what, huh? Excuse me, what are you talking about? And he goes, it was the most Jurassic thing that ever happened to me. Come on, it was big. And I was like, what do you think that word means? And he goes, Jurassic. It means something that's like large. That's why they called it Jurassic Park because it was all full of all these huge dinosaurs. And me and this other friend were just laughing our asses off at him. And we were like, dude, no, it's like, I remember my other friend was, I don't think she graduated college or anything. Like she didn't go on to, she's not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. But she was like, no, it's the Mesozoic, the Paleozoic, it's Jurassic is an era of time, an epoch or aeon or whatever.
You got to wonder how many other people he said this in front of who were just too nice to say anything.
Yeah, I know. Well, at the time, he was too old to be using it in that way, too. We were just like, what are you talking about, man? So anyway, but, he was running a very successful clinic now.
Yeah, he's crying all the way to the bank.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he really is. But speaking of crying all the way to the bank, are you ready to go ahead and get into minute number 48?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. In the previous minute, Ian Malcolm started to explain chaos theory to Ellie Sattler. As the minute ended, he had her put a drop of water on her hand as Alan Grant noticed something outside of the car. At minute number 48, Malcolm asks Ellie which way the drop of water will roll off. She says towards her thumb. Grant continues to focus on what's going on in the distance. Malcolm tells Ellie to freeze and not move her hand. Malcolm adds another drop of water to her hand in the same place. Malcolm gasps as the drop of water rolls to a different part of her hand. He says that it changed and asked her why it did so. Malcolm takes her hand and begins to rub it. He tells her that tiny variations due to the orientation of hairs on her hand. Ellie says, hey, Alan, look at this. Malcolm continues to stroke her hand and tell her that the amount of blood distending in her vessels, imperfections in the skin. At 48:31, Ellie repeats to him in a sarcastic manner, imperfections in the skin? Malcolm says, just microscopic. Malcolm tells her that the variations never repeat and vastly affect the outcome. Ellie says, that's unpredictability. At 48:39, we cut to a shot outside of the vehicle. Grant opens the car door and jumps out. Malcolm says, look at this. See? I'm right again. No one could have predicted that Dr. Grant would suddenly jump out of a moving vehicle. Ellie follows Grant outside of the car. At 48:52, Malcolm is now alone in the vehicle and says, there's another example. He laughs and says, see, here I am by myself, now talking to myself. That's chaos theory. And thus ends minute number 48 of Jurassic Park Minute. The last line that Malcolm has here I am sitting in the car by myself, talking to myself, is the very essence of chaos. That's one of the lines from this movie that I love, and I use it in conversation all the time when I can. It's
people walking out of conversations on you.
Exactly. I'm sitting there at a Christmas party by myself with a mug full of eggnog going here I am again, talking to myself. That's the essence of chaos. So, I love it. I think it's hilarious. I think Goldblum does some really great stuff in this minute. He's really hilarious. So yeah, what are your thoughts on what's going on here?
I don't have a whole lot for minute number 48, but there is a really neat reference in Jurassic World when the security team is out looking for the Indominus Rex, and the guy finds the tracking device that it tore out. A drop of blood drops in his hand, and then another one drops and it goes off the other way.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
Really,
which
it
is-
does.
and it's-
That's clever.
It's an intended reference to it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That is all I have.
There's nothing really going on in this minute other than him just being kind of like corny and macking on Ellie Sattler, like stroking her hand, rubbing her hair. And then she says something. She says, Alan, hey, look
Yeah.
at this. Why do you think she says, Alan, look at this?
Because she's like, get this dude away from me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
who's she saying it to?
Alan?
Which you might want to also maybe call, I don't know, her boyfriend?
Oh, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
not.
you and I have had kind of a disagreement going on with
Not so much a disagreement, but we had someone write in who, whenever we were talking about whether or not why Alan and Ellie would have split up come Jurassic Park 3, and someone wrote in and said, I've actually never seen it and thought of it as though they were in a relationship, because it's never. It's implied in the movie, but it's never really spelt out.
Right.
Anyway, this guy's theory was like plausible. I don't want to call it a theory. It's just the way he's always seen it. And just that they were really close friends. They had a really close connection. And, they weren't in a relationship in the book, so maybe it's the same in the movie. And I started thinking about that. And then I was like, okay, well, the fact that they're split up in Jurassic Park 3 now is a little easier to digest.
Yeah.
Because a little easier to swallow because... because I know that there was no separation at any point. Isn't it weird how in movies, even obscure characters in movies like this, you still get some kind of a personal investment in?
Sure, yeah.
Like, I was showing a friend of mine Jurassic Park 3, and the second she saw that they had been divorced or broke up or whatever, she was like, nope, turn it off. Don't want to watch it. Don't want to watch it. And I'm like, man... I could care less about some historical figures, but I find a strange connection to fictional characters.
Yeah.
Characters on television series and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I find that kind of stuff really interesting.
No, it is really interesting, and this is just one of the many references in the movie, I think, to the fact that they're a couple, at least in the film series, not in the book. But there's another line later where Ian Malcolm asks Grant, "So are you and Dr. Sattler?" And he doesn't finish saying it, and Alan goes, "Yeah." And it's like, well, I mean, you're right. It's never explicitly stated that they're a couple, but I do think the movie heavily it just assumes that the audience catches that.
You know what I like is that it could be seen both ways. And you can take whichever, if you want to think of it a certain way, there it is. It's right there for you. And the other way, the same.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to talk real quick because that was someone brought that up, I think, on our Facebook group, and we had a nice discussion with them about that. We also got a gentleman named Kai sent us a note that we had gotten something wrong, and we do need to correct that.
Yes. Thank you, Kai.
We keep referring to the flying reptiles from Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World as pterodactyls, but they are not dinosaurs. Or I'm going to make sure I'm getting this right because I'm not a paleontologist, and Kai is. I think he was actually really loved the Jurassic Park series, and that actually drove him to have a passion for dinosaurs and become a paleontologist. And we love it when people send us stuff like this because we're just two jackasses yelling out into the void. Yeah. Number one, I like the fact that people continue to listen to us, and then number two, when we make a mistake, everybody points it out to us in a very respectful. and like Kai did,
which
here,
we want to know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, we will, folks. We're going to screw up several more times before the show's over. Believe me. But when somebody can come to you and be like, "Hey, I noticed this, but this is the actual," I think they call it a well actually. When someone's like, "Well, actually,"
yeah.
But when they do it in a respectful manner, it's really appreciated. So, but they were not dinosaurs, and they are not related to birds. They are a separate group of flying reptiles that evolved flight completely independently and happened to live during the same time period. Not everything alive during the Mesozoic era was exactly a dinosaur, which that's absolutely true.
Yeah, which is so fascinating to me that there can be prehistoric life and it's not prehistoric animals and they're not technically dinosaurs.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to say the name here. It sounds like it's Ptersaurus. So I think that's a pterosaur.
Yeah, I believe I've heard it.
With a P at the beginning.
Well, yeah,
so,
just like pterodactyl.
Yeah,
that's silent P.
So the crest-headed dinosaur from Jurassic Park 3 was a pteranodon and not a pterodactyl, and it was a pterosaur. So
there you go.
That's what was going on there. Yeah. Not a dinosaur. Very interesting. And very, Kai, again, thank you so much for reaching out to us on Facebook.
Yeah, seriously. I've actually exchanged a couple emails with him now. Really nice guy. But very cool to have that kind of input from a professional.
Yeah, it is very cool that a paleontologist would tolerate and listen to the show. And I really appreciate the fact that we have such a diverse audience out there and such a smart group of people, and if I have to say it, our listening audience, very attractive people as well. Yeah, very smart, very attractive, wonderful human beings. So you got anything else for this minute?
I do not.
Okay, so
I'm
it's just
glad
kinda...
we've been able to fill, so much with so little. No, the only thing I have for this minute was actually a note about Jurassic World, more so
Yeah,
than
go
this
ahead.
movie. So,
Oh, no, that was
that's
what
what
you
I
said.
already
Okay,
yeah.
I was like, oh, great, more content. Go ahead, fire away at me, Brady. Okay, well, you know what? I think tomorrow we're going to have a much longer episode than usual because it is our gigantic Jurassic-sized
That's right.
Christmas spectacular.
Oh,
So
poor
that'll be
guy.
dropping tomorrow. And this weekend, of course, we're going to be doing our Patreon episode, which is going to be our top 3 films of the year. So we're talking general movies. I don't think either of us have movies where dinosaurs show up in them, do we?
It's going to be very Jurassic.
It's
going
going to
to
be
so
so Jurassic, folks. So Jurassic.
Tune in.
Yeah. All right. So at the closing here, you'll have a little bit of information on our closing bumper of how people can become Patreon supporters. But yeah, check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Let's go ahead and get out of here. I'm Kyle.
I'm Brady.
And until next time, hold on to your butts.
Jurassic Park Minute is a fan-supported podcast. If you like the podcast, then leave us a review on iTunes. You can contact us at JurassicParkMinute@gmail.com and visit us online at JurassicParkMinute.com, Facebook.com/Jurassic Park Minute, and Twitter.com/Jurassic Minute.
You've been listening to a Pele Media podcast. For premium content and exclusive podcasts, visit us at patreon.com/Pele Media. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Pele Media and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/Pele Media.